What's up, everybody? Welcome to Narco Cop MMA, and this is the special edition Thursday Lambo Plays podcast for UFC 302. I'm your host, Mike, along with my co-host here, Timothy Troiano. We do have a special guest in the house today, but before I introduce my special guest, Tim, you were in Vegas. I was in Vegas. We had a nice little dinner at Caesar's Buffet. Caesar's Buffet sent me a letter afterwards and saying, you know what? I used my card, by the way, and they're like, never bring this guy again. This Timothy Troiano guy, he's done. He's cut off. So what's up? How was your Vegas trip? How much food did you put in that backpack? Yeah, tell the people. They really want to know this.
Yeah, dude. I mean, honestly, I came back home from Vegas and I looked at the scale. I legit gained 8 pounds in 4 days in Vegas. So I had to work out a little bit extra this week. But I'm not joking. I gained 8 pounds in Vegas. So good stuff. Thanks again.
This guy is not lying when he says he gained weight. Because I saw this guy eating. I mean, this guy was back and forth in the buffet. He's like, oh, I'm going to go try this. Oh, I'm going to go try that. I'm like, holy moly, this guy can eat. But yeah, I mean, I don't know where the hell that goes, but because Timothy he's not really a big guy, and I don't know where all this food goes, but the man can eat. Let me go over to the chat before I bring in my special guest, Olajuwon. Lambo Plays a day early. Yes, sir. Mushroom, what is up? 2 more sleeps. Correct. There will be blood. Just need $1. Love watching these episodes. Thank you, my man. Appreciate it. Dixon, what is up, man? We hit a Lambo parlay this week. I'm getting a Lambo parlay tattoo. I'm holding you to that if you're going to say that kind of stuff, man. You can't be saying that and not doing it. Norashi says, shine bright like a diamond. Yes, sir. Let's see. Early Lambo show. Yes, sir. Early Lambo show. I'm off to Vegas tomorrow, so I had to do it. What is up? Joshua Frick in the house as well. Kristen, what's up? Hello, Narco Tim in chat. Huge week. Let's piss the bookies off. Yes, ma'am, we should. Josh Lamb, what's up? Arturo, Craig Crowley in the house. Double Flush is in the house. Benino. Who else do we have here? Subhuman. Jay Braves is in the house. What's up, my man? Archer MMA, what's good, brother? Sam Hale, special guest is Keith Peterson. No, it's not. That motherfucker would not be a special guest on this show. Timothy Johnson, what's up, my man? Steverson is in the house. Daz, what's up, Daz Files? Killabrew. My God, we have a lot of people already. Aussie Fight Fan, what's up, my man? Over 100 people already in here. And let me introduce my special guest. It's our friend. It's our man. The guy, very sharp, man. Sean Orr, what is up, my man? Are you ready? UFC 302. I think we have a lot of the same bets. We have a lot of the same thinking on this card. But, yeah, how do you feel about this 302 card?
Yeah. Thanks for having me. I think it's a good card. There's a few spots that I think are obvious. We'll see if they are obvious when the night concludes. But one spot that I'm pretty passionate about that has moved already. I know you are. I'm excited to talk about that. But happy to have fights live, pay-per-view. We're going to be doing the live spaces. So yeah, very excited. Yeah.
All right. Thanks for coming on, Sean. And I really appreciate it. But with that being said, we still have 12 fights to go through, and we will start out with the first fight of the night, and it is in the flyweight division. It is the 8-0 Andre Lima versus the 9-1 Mitch Raposo. Last minute replacement, not last minute, but about a week and a half. Tim, you will kick this one off. What do you have here that sticks out to you as a Lambo play?
So I like the Lima side in this fight. I think that it's short notice again for Mitch in this fight. I think Mitch is better at this weight class. I think he's really small for the 135. I think I know typically it's not an issue with gas for Raposo at all, but I think he's probably going to get beat up for the majority of this fight standing. I think the bigger hands. I don't think that the volume is great with Lima, but I think when he does pick his shots, he can crack. I like the round 2, round 3, but I also don't hate the round 2, round 3 sub. So round 2 is 650, round 3 is 1050, and it is 25 and 35 to 1 if it goes by sub. So I think that he went for 2 subs against the Silva or Severina. So right. the Igor guy that bit him. And I think that there's a good chance that he's even talking about going for some submissions to kind of take away some of the takedowns against Mitch. He was talking about it in some of the interviews. So I don't hate taking shots on that. I do think that there's a better chance that he bonks him later, but I think it's he could wrap up a front choke on a bad takedown if Mitch does that. So don't hate those looks at some really, really higher numbers.
All right. On the sub prop for Lima, Sean, have anything for this one here? Raposo, Lima?
Yeah, this is an interesting fight. So the way I view it is everybody's pretty low on Mitch Raposo and everybody's very high on Andre Lima. I don't really see why Andre Lima is such a heavily touted prospect. I don't understand why he's minus 270, minus 300. These are very, very small guys. And in very, very small guy fights, they tend to be pretty close. If you look at the way they fight, Mitch is pretty reliant on his movement on the outside. He's pretty good at moving, staying safe, and then finding his shots. He might mix in a takedown here or there. Whereas Lima is very heavy. He's very static, heavy. He kind of moves forward, pretty predictable. I will give him some credit here. He is very good on the counter. So am I going to be surprised at all if Mitch gets hit or hurt at some point? Not really. But if I'm looking at this fight from the market standpoint, I think Mitch is the side just because Lima is being very overrated. And then it becomes a matter of, well, how do I see it getting done? I think it'll probably be a decision. So I don't hate the plus 350 on Mitch by decision. But I also won't be surprised, honestly, if he knocks him out. So Mitch does have some pretty heavy hands, and Lima is very hittable. Everybody's talking about Mitch being hittable, chinny, all this stuff. A lot of stuff that we can't verify. We have seen Lima getting hit in his fights, though. We have seen him slowing down. So I wouldn't be surprised if Mitch gas pedals him and finishes him late, but I think decision for Mitch plus 350.
Yeah, I mean, kind of talked about this fight a little. I know a lot of people are high on this Lima guy. I'm not. I played actually Severino last fight. Obviously ended up being a losing ticket after he bit him, but I think, when you watch that fight over, tides were turning. I think Severino was kind of getting the best of him at that point, and I have no idea why he bit him. We kind of talked about it. He grabbed the fence a million times, never got penalized.
Lima did.
Yeah, Lima grabbed the fence a million times, never got penalized. Maybe that's what pissed off Severino and he bit him. I have no idea. But, a lot of people are kind of like shitting on Raposo and there is a bad look. The Hadley second round wasn't the greatest look. He got taken down. The choke wasn't even underneath his chin, and he kind of just like tapped, but, talking about the circumstances, that Contender Series fight he took on short notice. I want to say he took it on 2 weeks. It was a short notice fight. He won round one. Let's not forget that he won round one against Hadley. The other fight that he lost against Shalinian, it was at 135, and Shalinian is a big guy. For 35. He's a wrestler. He can wrestle his ass off. And basically, had Raposo won round one, and then he went on to lose rounds 2 and 3 because he got grappled. Like, do I think Lima's going to out-grapple Raposo? Absolutely not. I don't think so. Raposo uses his wrestling kind of to alleviate pressure. He doesn't like being pressured a lot. He's, that's the one thing I don't like about his game. He's constantly on the back foot. But he uses the wrestling pretty well to take away the pressure, right? He gets him down, doesn't really hold him down. But I do like the guy's boxing, though, man. He can fight southpaw. He showed it in the Hadley fight. He can fight orthodox. He has power in his hands. He can mix in the takedowns like we talked about. And I really don't like the takedown defense from Lima, man. Yeah, he gets back up, but his takedown defense is not good. His cardio is a question mark to me. So all those things put together, Raposo decision is plus 360. I will say Lima seems to be very, very tough. I do think he's the more grittier of the two. But, Raposo, like I said, he has a good mixed martial art game. It's just, is he flaky? Is he the guy that's just going to give up when things go bad? We've seen that before. He was 22 years old too. Let's not forget that. He's 25. It's a little bit older, a little bit more experience. He hasn't beat the best guys, but I don't think both of these guys have beat the best guys. So with that being said, +3, I think you can find 360 on Bet Rivers, I think it was. Yeah. Bet Rivers 360. I don't think it's a bad look, honestly. I think this fight is going to be close if it hits the scorecards. And I kind of lean Raposo just off of the mix-in of the takedowns. And I think the striking is going to be kind of close. So, yeah, let's move on here. Fight number 2. It is in a bantamweight division. It is the 13-5 Jocelyn Edwards versus the 9-2 Aileen Perez. This one's yours, Sean.
I mean, it's really tough for me to care about this fight, to be honest with you. So I'll keep mine short. I do think that Perez is probably going to win a decision just because Jocelyn can't wrestle. Maybe she's improved it. I know there's been some improvements, but I just got to think that Perez has a lot of the upside here in terms of controlling the fight. But for the purposes of a Lambo play, I think Perez does slow down in her fights. So I would go with Edwards round 3.
All right. That's a big ticket. I think, what is that? 20-1 or something? Edwards round
3? I
mean,
you can do KO 3, which is 25, or you can get, round 3.
Yeah, 20 is good. Yeah, 20-1 I'm seeing. Not bad. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think I don't like either girl. I played Edwards at a bigger number. The line has come down. I just didn't think Aileen Perez is deserving of being like a -220. The one thing is there's a lot of backstory, the bad blood, the this, the that, the sucker punch, the girl getting choked out by the coach. There's so much to this fight. And the one thing that, kind of stuck out when I went through these girls' Instagram is how much better Jocelyn Edwards looks, man. Like her body looks completely transformed. It's crazy. 6-pack and everything. I mean, she looks really, really, really good. Maybe she's like doing her best training camp ever because she hates this girl's guts. And it could be the same way for the other side. I'm not saying that Aileen is not going to do that. But Aileen just, man, with all the OnlyFans stuff, dude, she is 24/7. If you look at her Instagram, it's all she's doing is OnlyFans shit. I mean, she does train
people.
What?
They hire people for that.
I'm sure she does. She does train hard from what I could see. Like, I don't think she doesn't, she's not a girl that messes around. But I think this is a close fight, to be honest. I think Edwards' takedown defense has definitely improved from before. I think she did a good job against Kopylov, digging underhooks. Whenever it was shooting from space, she did very well defending. The two takedowns I saw, the one where it was off a overhand right, it was perfectly timed from Kopylov, and the other one she turned the pipe. It was really good, just a really good takedown. Outside of that, man, she defended him really well. She took Tim's favorite fighter, Cornholio, down a bunch last fight, and it was a decent look, but she got reversed as well, which was not such a good look. I do think both girls are tough. I like the Edwards side, obviously, and 290 decision. It's almost 300, almost a Lambo. It's a used Lambo, but I'm just going to go with Edwards' decision here, plus 290. I could see a finish, honestly, late because Aileen Perez looked absolutely horrific in round 3 against Kopylov. Like, she almost got finished. If there was probably 15 more seconds, she might have got finished. So, and I think somebody, I don't know if it was you, somebody was on that play, honestly, Kopylov. Was it you? What a disaster. It was so close. But yeah, Edwards' decision for me, plus 290, I'm not very, very confident in this fight. I just kind of fading Aileen Perez at this price. Tim, what do you have?
Yeah, I had round 3 and round 3 sub for Kopylov, and if she knew how to fucking lock in a rear naked choke, that shit's done. So, and I mean, Kopylov sucks on the ground. Like, she sucks really grappling completely. So that the fact that she was able to get that position against Perez is just a huge red flag for her in round 3. I mean, I think my pick of what I actually think happens in the fight is I think that Perez probably wins 29-28, but I'm with Sean on the Lambo. I mean, like, I think it's round 3. I think it's round 3 sub at 19-1 and 41-1. Like, even Edwards goes for subs when she's on the ground. Like, it's not like she just lays on the ground or she lays on her back. I think it could be something where she could even catch her in round 3 on her back with something too. So, I mean, if she gets a back take or something like that, I think she'll do better than Pudilova did in those same situations. So, yeah, I mean, this is a battle of white meat versus dark meat, padonkadonk battle here. There's the big booties going out there. So if you're into that, it's going to be the only shot you got all night.
Oh boy, Timothy. Yeah, let's move on. Fight number 3. It is in the welterweight division. It is the 7-5 Mickey Gall versus the 8-4-1 Basil Hafez. I will kick this one off. Man, the line I wanted absolutely got murdered. And I said it early in the week, man. I'm looking at this line. I want to hit this, when it opens in domestics, and it got nuked. I wanted the Hafez KO. It was 800 on the opener. What a crazy line. I would have probably put at least the unit on it, but I waited because I thought domestics, and it just got hit and hit and hit, and it's all the way down. What is it now? Dude, it's plus 340, 340. It's disgusting.
340, yeah, 340.
Disgusting. Yeah, I can't play 340, honestly. It's just I can't play that line. It's not a line I want to play on the Hafez KO. I do think he's going to hurt him with an overhand right. Gull is just defensively irresponsible. He gets hurt a lot. Hafez is obviously primarily a grappler, but I do think he has a ton of power in his hands. He's built like a truck. He's been training at elevation. All the things I've been hearing from people over there is that he's looked absolutely amazing. He took that fight against JDM on three days notice, 30-pound weight cut. He said in an interview, man, he absolutely felt like shit on fight day. He did not feel good. He cut a lot of weight in a very short. He walks around at 200 pounds. That's his walking around weight, and he cut a shit ton of weight there to fight. And he didn't look bad, honestly. He did not look bad against JDM there, but now he's fighting a Mickey Gall. Outside of a back take, rear naked choke, I don't see Mickey Gall winning this fight whatsoever. Like, he's not. I don't see him hurting Hafez. Hafez's chin, even going back to regionals, looks very, very good. His chin is fucking crazy good. JDM landed some bombs on this guy to the body as well, and this guy just took him. I couldn't believe it. But the only thing, there's only one thing I can play in this fight, and it's 2-3 KO for Hafez. Hopefully Mickey Gall doesn't get blasted out early on. It's 750. I don't think that's terrible. I know Hafez historically hasn't looked very good in the later rounds, but I do think in the fight prior to getting to the UFC, he knocked out a guy in the third, Evan Cutts, who I don't think he's ever been knocked out before, and he knocked him out in round 3 cold. So I do think his cardio is getting better. He's training at elevation. And Mickey Gall's cardio, honestly, is not good either. So give me the 2-3 KO. It's 750. The number is right for me. If that's how I'm going to play this guy, and I think it's KO, then, it could be round 1. That's what I'm afraid of, but I'm going to take 2-3 at 750. Tim?
Yeah, I agree with you. It's KO for me, and then I like KO 2. I would lean. I actually think it's like KO 1, KO 2, but I like the KO 2 prop here at 12-1 plus the 340 on the regular KO just to cover all the bases on it. The only thing I would add to it is I just want to let people know the fighters that what's his face Mickey Gall has beaten are Mike Jackson, CM Punk, Sage Northcutt, George Sullivan, Salim Tahari, and his best win is Jordan Williams. So this guy has gotten some good matches.
Are you trying to say he's can crushing?
He's the definition of tomato can crushing here. Like this would be like probably his best win if he gets this win here. So I think it's Hafez probably either bonking him or winning a pretty clear decision. I don't see the sub. I know people are interested in the sub for Hafez. That's the one area where I think that Mickey will probably be at least even with him or maybe better.
But they grappled before and Hafez won. But that was 11 years ago.
Yeah.
Sean, go ahead.
Just basic grappling though, right? It wasn't like, was it like he finished
jiu-jitsu match?
He won. Yeah, he didn't finish him though, right?
I don't think so. No, it was decision.
Yeah.
All right, Sean. What do you got for us, Sean? He's looking at us. He's like, you guys are dummies.
I mean, this is a weird fight, right? So, to be honest with you, I'm not super high on Hafez at all. I don't think he's a very functional fighter. I think he's just a giant roid head. He has some skills, but mostly he's just pure power, pure horsepower, in my opinion. Even Evan Cutts is not good, and we've seen this before where somebody does like a short notice debut and looks good and then they get overvalued by the market. So I'm not really looking too deeply into this Jack Della Maddalena fight personally. Like, I'm not going to value it that much. I put a bit of value on it, but like not as much as I think other people have, or not the line really -400. He should probably get it done. Mickey Gull, this is a guy who was brought into the UFC basically as a prop, right, for Sage Northcutt. So, who is the other guy? CM Punk or whatever. Punk. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not super bullish on Mickey Gull's skill sets, but I guess give me Hafez KO 1-2. Just go with that. I actually don't think he has good cardio. I don't care what his training camps are saying. I think that it's really tough for a guy with his musculature and the way he fights to ever have good endurance in a way where I feel like he's going to be putting guys out late in fights. So I know he's done it before, but even that Evan Cutts fight is just weird. If you watch Evan Cutts fight, he sucks. So I'm not really I'm not putting too much value in that. He lost to Evan Cutts, a year before that fight. So Hafez is really not as good as people think he is, but Mickey Gull, who knows, time off. I'm not going to invest in Mickey Gull.
What's crazy? I think his win against Anthony Ivy is better than anything Mickey Gull's ever done. And Anthony Ivy actually has looked pretty damn good lately. He's looked good. He pulled off that huge upset in PFL, and he's looked he's a good grappler too, Anthony Ivy. His problem was he kind of gasses as well, but lately he's been pretty good. So
that's what I was going to say, though. Aren't they two gassy bowl grapplers?
Yeah, I think Mickey's more gassy than Hafez. I think Gull's more gassy than Hafez is. But I think they're both gassy.
Maybe. I know he's shown it, but like Mickey's had some time off. I don't know. I think that I wouldn't get too carried away investing in Hafez personally.
No, it's like you
said. I wouldn't
play
play 400. I think his KO props are
even
not
his props. I'm not going to get too invested in this guy personally.
I think he can hurt Gull, man. Gull's chin is not good.
It's like you said. It's like you said though. The overestimating and valuing guys after they're plus 500 as a dog, and then they fight close, and it's a close fight. But legitimately, the corner for JDM was like, stop going for fucking guillotine. The guy was like 3 for 20 on fucking takedowns. It wasn't like he just grapple fucked this dude. And the 2 of the 3 takedowns were guillotine takedown defense from Jack.
When I see Morono dropping you with a jab and you're fucking discombobulated off a jab from Morono out of all people, it's a freaking bad look.
Morono knocked out the legend Cowboy Cerrone.
Yeah, I know. the ghost of Cowboy Cerrone. But yeah, let's move on here. Fight number 4. It is in the welterweight division. It is the 10-4 Phil Rowe versus the 19-7 Jake Matthews. Timothy, this one's yours.
It's a really kind of interesting fight. I think there's like a bunch of fighters on this card that are just their fight IQ is very unreliable, and you just don't want to be backing them in situations. And almost like when you set up like a rational game plan in your mind for what you think the fighter should do, you can pretty much guarantee that they won't do it. I put Jake Matthews in that crew of people a lot of times, that he just doesn't fight to his best paths in fights, and to the easiest paths in fights. I think if Jake wrestles in this fight and gets the singlet on, he could look like really, really heavy favorite. Like, I just think that Rowe's takedown defense. I also think that if Jake kicks the legs a lot and uses his striking to attack the bottom of Rowe before slows him down, I think that that's a really good thing for him to do as well. So like my pick, I think, would be just like Jake points. It's not a Lambo, but I would think that that's probably what happens. But there's two that I would think like are Lambo plays that are very potential in this. The first is ends by split at plus 400. I think that it could just be, the length can kind of get to Jake a little bit if he doesn't fight smart. And I think Rowe can take some damage, and then maybe he starts off slow, and then he starts to pick it up in rounds 2 and 3 a lot of times in his fights. And the other thing that I see happening is like just Jake being stupid and getting caught in a sub, like going for a takedown. Like I just think that Rowe could catch him. He's got noodly arms, like he's got fishbowl arms. So like, James Vick subbing you is the biggest red flag ever. Like, it's just not a good thing. Like. And so I just feel like there's a chance at 750 that Rowe could sub him. I lean more split. I lean more the end split than the sub, but I do think that there's just like I don't fault Matthews at all for getting subbed by Brady, but like if you're getting subbed by James Vick, to me that's just like the biggest red flag. More end split for me, plus 400.
All right, Timothy on the split, a little bit of Rowe. Sean. What do you think of this one?
Yeah, I mean, to me, this fight is clearly Jake Matthews for me. I personally don't think that Phil Rowe is very good. Let me tell a little story here. I'm pulling it up right here. So Phil Rowe, guys, he's turning 34 next month. Jake Matthews is 29. He's going to turn 30 in 2 months. Phil Rowe was losing to Justin Lesko on the regional scene a few months, like a year before Jake Matthews took his first loss in the UFC, right? So Jake was in the UFC actually before Phil Rowe is even turning pro, and Phil Rowe is 34. So I look at the way Phil Rowe fights. I don't think he is very intelligent either. Not a huge IQ fighter, makes a ton of mistakes. It seems like he comes without a game plan. He's basically right hand or nothing else, right? Even on the mat, his jiu-jitsu is underwhelming to me. A lot of what he has is this half guard hip bump sweep, which he's good at. But if you're like even halfway decent at jiu-jitsu, you really shouldn't fall for that. That's a very like purple belt level type of sweep. He's got long arms. Maybe he could submit Jake, but it would have to be a quit job from Jake, in my opinion. So the way I view this fight is it's going to be standing. Jake's going to be avoiding the right hand. And we've seen in Jake's fights nowadays, he is actually pretty good at avoiding damage. I know he got touched up by Matthew Semmelsberger a little bit, but if you go back and watch his fight against Michael Morales, he was pretty smart. Yeah, Dixon. He was pretty smart about, avoiding damage. And the way I view this fight is Jake is going to have calf kicks for free all day. He's going to totally disable Phil Rowe's leg before Phil Rowe can even get a game plan going. And Jake is eventually going to set him up for the left hook or the right hand, and he's going to knock him out. So I think Jake by knockout, 650, 600, that would be the best Lambo play for me.
Let's go. I'm on Jake Matthews kind of early. I think I don't know what it was, 138 or something. Look at the guy Phil Rowe has beat, man. Like, look at these guys, man. You want to talk about can crushing? I mean, Orion Koski, Jason Witt, and Nico Price. And the shot, Nico Price. Let's say that. Nico Price, that's right, he's stepping on the door of retirement, right? And Nico Price was getting his ass handed to him in rounds 1 and 2. And then he hurt Phil Rowe in round 3 pretty damn bad. Phil Rowe drops round 1 to Koski. Phil Rowe drops 1 to Jason Witt. Phil Rowe, even in Contender Series, he got dropped bad against Leon Shabazian, and that guy is not good. He finishes him in round 3, but like, we're talking about levels of fighting, man. Like, okay, Jake Matthews, he's inconsistent, but he's losing to much better guys. I mean, come on. Look at these guys he's losing to. I mean, the sub against James Vick, okay, it's bad, but I want to give him a break. He's 20 years old, man. It's 9 years ago. It's guy comes into UFC 20 years old. I mean, you're young, you can make mistakes. You're not, I don't think it's that. It's a bad thing, but it's not like a huge red flag for me. The guy's 20 years old. Now he's 29. He has a ton of UFC experience. Like Sean said, this guy's been in the UFC before Phil Rowe even turned pro, And to be honest, I don't care what anybody says. The last couple of fights, he's looked good. Michael Morales is a damn fucking hard guy to fight. He's a really good fighter. He's good everywhere. He's got good takedown defense. He's very long. What is Phil Rowe going to show him that Michael Morales didn't show him? I don't see anything. Michael Morales hits hard. He's long. He can do everything. He can grapple. He's better defensively than Phil Rowe. Phil Rowe defensively is not good. He gets blasted a lot on the feet. And so I totally agree with Sean, man. Jake Matthews carries a lot of power, man. He does. He doesn't show it in his record. He doesn't have a ton of knockouts, only 5 in his career. But he dropped a lot of people also. He hurt Matt Semmelsberger after he was dropped 3 times in that fight. The guy has power in his hands, and he slings it. So I think he's going to knock out Phil Rowe, man. Phil Rowe leaves his chin too high. And to me, it was a matter of time. This guy's going to get knocked out again. I said it. And I think this is the time he's getting knocked out. He's getting knocked out against a guy that, will come in there and he will throw big punches. And, when you're fighting Neil Magny, you're probably not getting knocked out, The guy doesn't throw hard. When you're fighting all these other guys, Nico Price hurt him, like I said. Gabe Green, I think he dropped him like 1 or 2 times in that fight. That was the only guy that kind of throws hard. And I think he dropped Phil Rowe in that fight twice. If I'm not, he dropped him 2 times. So, KO 650. I think it's too big, honestly. I think this is a spot where the line is off. And that's basically because Phil Rowe's only been knocked out once. Okay. Well, give me plus 650 on Jake Matthews by KO. Moving on, fight number 5. It is in the lightweight division. It is a 22-1 Grant Dawson versus the 13-4 Joe Solecki. Sean, this one's yours.
Yeah, it's a weird fight, man. Joe Solecki is a bit of a disappointment as far as a UFC prospect. He's a jiu-jitsu guy. He's going to play off his back, right? I think the biggest indicator, or the first indicator that Joe Solecki was not going to fare well in the UFC was round 1 against Jim Miller. The fact that he was able to kind of, get hit with a shot, fall to his back, and then hold guard for the entire fight has just been bearish for his whole career. And ever since, hasn't looked good. So for me, I think that Dawson is going to win this fight. For the purposes of a Lambo show, I would say I'd go with 2-3 for Grant KO. But to be safer, I would think just method of how the fight ends KO at 450, at 500. I think that's pretty solid.
Yeah, I'm going with the 2-3 on Dawson, just in general. I'm just afraid that, I know Solecki's a great grappler, blah, blah, blah. But when, when you're getting pounded and someone's on top of you for, 14 out of 15 minutes and he's just going at you, you can get subbed. Anybody can get subbed. So, and Dawson is a damn good grappler himself. So, I'm going to go with Dawson round 2, round 3. It's 650. And you can get 1,000, by the way, guys, if you have Bet365. It's definitely by far the best price you can get out there on round 3 Dawson. I played that. I just think, Dawson, his cardio kind of comes into question, but I don't think it's as bad as people are making it out to be honest. And I think with a guy like Solecki, who's just going to probably play off his back, it's not a good thing for him. He's not going to really tire out Dawson that way. And so, even Solecki himself has questionable cardio, to be honest. So, 2-3 for me on Dawson, plus 650, plus 1,000. Tim, what do you got here?
I like the Grant by KO at 5-1, Grant KO 2, 17-1, KO 3, 24-1. I think that, you guys have already brought it up. I mean, I just think that the wrestling and physicality edge are big for Grant here. I think that Solecki, his win condition is like meme sub early or like 2 back takes. I just don't see him winning. Like his striking with Grant, like to hesitate against anybody, you need to have some hands that can make him pause or just just that's it. Like if you don't have power, he's just going to get his game off against you and he's not going to be threatened at all. So I feel like he does. It's also like Grant to me isn't the kind of guy where it's like, you can just play jiu-jitsu off your back against. Like he's going to be looking to pass and he's going to be looking to ground and pound to look to pass. So I think that like with Gordon versus Solecki, he's just laying on his back. He's not doing very much. Like that could obviously kill all of our plays if he goes full guard and just tries to hug him the whole time. But I think if he does that, he's going to get pounded into the ground a bunch by Dawson. I think like you're saying on the round 2, round 3, I mean, I get that he's, you can sub anybody that gasses and, we've seen just, very, very good jiu-jitsu artists. I mean, Fluffy subbing Vieira and round, like that shit happens. But in this situation, I think that Solecki will be able to defend the subs. I just really do. I think that it'll be more positional and TKO than anything.
Yep. I mean, I could see that. Let's move on. Fight number 6. It is in the heavyweight division. I think they switched this up, by the way. They made it a prelim. It is in the heavyweight division. It is the 20-3 Jalton Almeida versus the 17-2 Alexander Romanov. And I will kick this one off. I know a lot of people are kind of like iffy about Almeida, and, he does have a little bit of questions, but honestly, I got way more questions about Romanov, to be honest. I don't think this guy's training hard. You can't tell me you're going to 239 or 230, whatever he was that one time, and then all of a sudden balloon up to 265 again and be like, okay, yeah, this is a better fighting weight for me. I don't buy it. I don't think it's correct. I think this guy's a lazy fucking piece of shit. He beat Ivanov, whatever, Ivanov can't really grapple, but, Almeida, for whatever he's worth, I mean, he was ragdolling, for one round, he was ragdolling a very freaking good wrestler in Curtis Blades, man. Let's not forget that. And people seem to look past that. I mean, he was taking him down over and over and over again. And that's a big man too. I mean, that's not a little guy. So, maybe Romanov can take Almeida down. I don't know. It's possible. But I think Almeida will do much better off his back, in my opinion, because of the jiu-jitsu, because of those skills, than Romanov would. So, I like Almeida here to finish. Also, one more thing, the Volkov fight, huge red flag for me for Romanov. It looked like a quit job, man. This guy couldn't get takedowns, just quit. Absolutely quit. Volkov got on top of him, hit him with a couple of punches, and he just covered up, and it was done. So I do think Almeida is going to get to this guy, and I don't. The thing is, it's going to be hard to sub this guy because he's so damn wide and thick. I think it's going to be ground and pound, and he's going to make him quit again. So I'm going to go with Almeida KO2, KO3. It's 1,400 and 2,500. I think he gets it done, man. I honestly think he's going to get I think he has the better cardio as well. So give me Almeida KO2, 1,400, KO3, 2,500. Tim, what do you got here?
Right there with you, man. I just think there's so many advantages here for Almeida, and it's not like this guy's invincible. I mean, in the podcast that we had in this last fight with Blades, I was on Blades KO and KO2 for basically the exact same reason. I was just like, I think he probably will tire him out trying to grapple him, and then if this fight is standing at all, like he can easily bonk him. I mean, like, he's got much better striking, and the problem was that he shot a takedown in round 2 from like 50 feet away from him and just held on to his leg while he's just beating the shit out of him. So it's not like I said, it's not like Jailton is invincible, but when you're talking about Blades, there's two things. Like, Blades is way more similar to Almeida from an athleticism standpoint. And like, if you're getting taken down, this guy's athletic enough and has good enough wrestling to get up. Like, fucking Romanov is not that. I mean, like, if he gets up two times, he's just going to be like meat sweats and completely mouth breathing. Like, there's just no question he's going to gas the fuck out. That also, like, the fight with Espino to me is another just gigantic red flag for the Romanov side. He might outright quit in that fight. Took the way out, had his chance, didn't want to fight in the end of the fight. I'm done, right? Go to a decision. Let's just call this. And Espino was like 160 years old in that fight, and he was getting him down in that fight as well. So I just don't see Jailton not getting him down. And I do think that the get-ups, if Jailton is on bottom, I think that he will be able to get up. And I think once he gets on top, I mean, I think it could be round 1. I'm with you. I like the KO plus 380. And what I'm probably going to do is I'm probably going to play 3 on this one. I probably would play the KO as my main bet, and then, like you do, the KO2, KO3, and just hope that he can survive. But I honestly don't think it's like he's easily could finish round 1 if he gets him in mount. Like, he just mounts him and just fucking Romanov quits. So Romanov has way too many red flags. He's clearly not training. He's eaten a version of himself before. So yeah, I'm on Jailton's side. Yeah.
One more thing before I go to Sean. That one thing I will say about Jailton that I extremely hate. This guy doesn't practice ground and pound, man. His ground and pound is fucking sucks. For a heavyweight, like this guy, these little donkey punches that he what the hell is that, dude?
His position. I think honestly, I don't think that it's not that I don't think that it's good, but I think like his jiu-jitsu is overrated. Like, if he's not getting like a fucking back take, he has so many opportunities to like fucking get arm triangles against guys, and he doesn't do it. Like, he doesn't.
But it's hard too against these heavyweights, man. They're so thick and big. I mean, it's a little bit harder.
You're not going to get like back takes and get your legs around these fat fucks.
That's what I'm saying. It's harder. They're just bigger. These guys. That's why we don't. How many subs do we don't see a lot of subs in the heavyweight.
But like the situation I was kind of talking about was like, an example would be the Derek Lewis fight. Like, he got subbed so easily with an arm triangle versus Spivak. And it was there. I mean, like, it's just there against these guys. Can't get off their back. They're flat on their back, and you just get to side control. It should be there. Like, if you know how to lock it up, it should be there. And he's just like rear naked choke or bust. It seems like on the subs.
He needs to learn how to throw elbows and shit, man. This guy.
No, I don't disagree. I just think
his ground and pound well.
His sub game seems to be a little bit.
But man, that fight that he lost against, it was kind of like weird. He ate elbows to the side of the head and just went out. But like, he was fucking ragdolling Blaze in the first round, which is hard to do, man. Like, people seem to like look past that just because they're saying he flaked out. I mean, he ate some big elbows from a big dude. Maybe he was gassed. Maybe he knew he was fucked. He couldn't get, he couldn't keep him down.
He just shot he shot a really bad takedown.
Very bad. But he was also gassed. I'm pretty sure he was gassed.
Honestly. It was the worst one that he did. Yeah, for sure.
Let's hear Sean. And I have a feeling he's going to be putting us in our place here. What do you got here, Sean?
No, I mean, it's Almeida KO plus 380. So, yeah, I do think Romanov, the only way he's going to have success is to take Almeida down. Almeida has been taken down before. I don't think Almeida's jiu-jitsu is overrated. He's just a position over submission guy. And honestly, it kind of adds some credence to Mike's argument, which is he should just be throwing more ground and pound. I mean, that's what they teach you in. So Almeida comes from the old school jiu-jitsu, right? So the Gracie jiu-jitsu, which is position over submission. They try and hold you and break you down. But part of the philosophy is to land shots so that you can find the submission. They have to like turn over. And I can tell you for sure, they're not telling you to fucking punch like this. That's not what they're telling you to do. They're trying to tell you to punch him in the face. So I think he needs some serious work on his ground and pound. If he did work on that, I think Almeida is a tough out for anybody in the division, because once he gets you down, his control is so fucking good. You basically have to be a mammoth to get him off of you. And the way a lot of these guys are getting him off of them are using power. Well, if he's landing power shots on you while you're trying to do that, he's going to start putting some guys out. So I think it's going to be 380 for KO. Romanov's going to need to wrestle him. If he doesn't wrestle him, he's going to quit. It's probably going to be in round 1, honestly. So I'd rather play the KO than 2-3 KO. If Romanov wrestles him, though, I could see it going maybe a little bit later in the fight. But if he doesn't get that takedown, he's fucked right away.
Yeah. Honestly, I mean, look where he's. I don't know. Is that gym? Did you guys look at his IG? Is that his gym?
Romanov? No, he's a coach there.
Oh my God. That's not
it
even.
It doesn't matter. Here's the thing: is like Romanov has a really good wrestling pedigree, so it's a little underrated. So I'm not going to be surprised at all if he takes down Almeida. If he grabs Almeida in a body lock, he can trip him for sure.
Yeah, he can get him down. He's a big guy. But the thing is, I just don't think Almeida is going to be able to get up, in my opinion. He's much more athletic. He has some jiu-jitsu.
I don't like Almeida's get-ups, though, because he tries to do the half guard. He plays deep. So he's such a traditional jiu-jitsu guy. He does that deep half guard shit. So I don't think that – I mean, he might be able to get up. It just uses a lot of energy, in my opinion. So
yeah,
I don't know. It's a weird fight, but I think that if you're looking at it from like what is the best betting angle? The best betting angle is that Romanov quits, right? So just play KO. That's it.
You could hedge on ends KO too at like 2-1.
No.
Yeah.
I mean,
all right. Let's move on. Fight number 7. It is in the middleweight division. It is the 12-3 Roman Kopylov versus the 5-0 Cesar Almeida. Timothy, this one's yours, my man.
The last thing I'd say about that last fight is, why the fuck did they move that to the prelims and put on Nico Price and Morono?
I do not know.
The fuck wants to.
You know why? You know why? I'll tell you. Because Jalton Almeida historically has been pretty damn boring. And
God,
I mean, that's the only thing I can think of, honestly.
Wow.
Right?
Man, that's painful. That's some painful shit right
That's
there.
the only thing I can think of why they moved him. He's been pretty boring. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Wow. Anyways, sorry about that. Yeah, this fight is interesting. It's similar, like I think some guys when they get they're grappling, they get exhausted, and then some grapplers when they're striking and they're not grappling, they get exhausted. And I kind of feel like Roman Kopylov I think he's a good striker. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a solid kickboxer. But I mean, everybody and their sister was on, Fluffy in round 2 and round 3 to sub him because they knew that he would cook him. They knew that the takedowns might be tough in the first, but that eventually he'd get. It's exactly what happened. So I think Kopylov, when he's wrestling and when he has to counter wrestle and has to grapple a lot, I think he gasses in those fights, and I think he's shown that he can be grappled versus guys that are strong and physical and have good takedowns. But I think that his cardio is being shit on when it's just a striking fight against another kickboxer. Out of his 11 KOs, 10 of them are in round 2 or 3. He's got 1 KO in round 1. Like, so to me, I think it's like, you got to look at that and be a little bit honest. If you're saying like, does this guy carry his power late? Yeah. Does he keep fighting late? Yeah. I mean, it's pretty obvious. So I think that this fight, I think both of these guys have solid power. They both can, hit extremely hard. They both are solid kickboxers. I think that Cesar Almeida is a better striker in general. But I think I'm not 100%. I'd be interested to hear what you guys have to say. I think that Kopylov's a little bit quicker, but it remains to be seen. I'd like interesting to hear what you guys have to say on that. But I think he might have a little bit of a speed advantage. But I think the striking, how clean the striking is on Almeida. I like his technical striking a little bit better. But I think this could be close. I would go by ends by split at, I think it's plus 500 or 550, something like that. And yeah, I just think that there's a chance that either one of these guys could connect, but I think that this could be a just 15-minute tough for judges to kind of tell who wins, and then everybody who has plus money on both sides are complaining as to who won. So yeah, I'll go by ends by split on this one, but yeah, interesting. Like, I want to hear you guys take on who you think has the speed advantage.
All right, Sean.
Yeah.
Your time to shine, my friend.
Yeah, Kopylov has an early speed advantage, but the issue with Kopylov's game is that it's very predictable. He kind of has the same couple setups that he does the whole time. And I just, I have to look at the stylistics here, right? So this is a kickboxing fight. And who's the better kickboxer? It's Almeida. I mean, he's world class. He fought the top-ranked guy in glory right now, probably got robbed, fought him close another time. So, I mean, he's about as high level as you could possibly get for kickboxing. So I think that the way this fight is going to go, it's going to be Almeida kind of downloading information early in the fight. He's probably going to be gauging the speed. I think Kopylov's just going to get tired as the fight progresses, and I think that Almeida is going to go on the front foot. He's going to wear Kopylov out with the forward pressure, and he's going to end up knocking him out here. So I don't think that Kopylov has very much depth to his game. And here's the funny thing. I'm in a lot of these chats, with people, and everybody and their mom hated this Kopylov guy ever since he was in the UFC. And then he strung together, some victories against the biggest bum tier competition you could possibly face. I mean, he fought like the worst of the worst, basically the equivalent of fighting Jamie Pickett 4 times. And now he's even money with a glory kickboxer. I understand that like Almeida doesn't have, the resume in MMA, but I just think this is a very good fight for him. It's going to project him into the rankings. He's going to knock him out.
Yeah. I mean, this is one where we got Almeida plus 125. And the line has flipped. It's minus 129 in some spots now in Almeida. And I like this guy. Listen, when you look at speed, for sure, it's Kopylov. I don't discount that. He's the faster guy. But man, people are not seeing. They have not seen this guy's striking yet in the UFC, because you know why? People are trying to grapple him. Guess what? Kopylov is not going to grapple this guy. And if he does, he's going to gas out even harder, because, yeah, Dylan Budka is not good. I get it. But he's a way better wrestler than fucking Kopylov is. That's for damn sure. Like, this guy went to Notre Dame College. It's a high-level fucking wrestling program. He is a better wrestler for sure than Kopylov, right? Kopylov is not going to wrestle here. It's going to be a kickboxing match. And, looking at this guy, yeah, he doesn't have a lot of experience, true, in MMA. But this, again, we're going to go back, and this is going to be a kickboxing match. And when you look at Kopylov, the one thing I really noticed with Kopylov is he's very good on the front foot. He's very good if you give him that front foot and you don't come forward, and he gets to kick you in the body. He gets to kick you for free. He's very good when that happens. But once you start backing him up, he's not the same guy. He's literally not the same guy. And the one thing I look at on tape that catches me over and over and over again is Cesar Almeida does not take a back step, man. He did not take a back step to Alex Pereira in those fights. He's constantly coming forward. He got hurt. He got dropped against Alex Pereira very bad. And guess what happened right after he got up? He kept marching forward again. The guy just doesn't know how to take a step back. And the one thing that he will use in this fight that no one's seen yet in MMA is he's going to blast the inside leg, man. This guy's kicks are absolutely vicious, man. Look what he did to that top-ranked kickboxer, Weesey. He absolutely destroyed his lead leg and made him go southpaw. Now, if he destroys the inner thigh of Kopylov, what's he going to do? Go orthodox? I've never seen him fight orthodox. He's probably going to be a sitting duck, dude. He's going to be a sitting duck, and he's going to get knocked out. That's how I think it happens, to be honest. I think he's going to blast the inner leg. He's going to totally butcher that leg. And then in round 2 and round 3, when this guy's a sitting duck, he's going to knock him out cold. This guy has a shit ton of power. He puts out people with 12-ounce gloves, 10-ounce gloves with one punch out cold. He's got a shit ton of power, and he just hasn't shown it in the UFC because everybody's trying to grapple him, dude. They don't want to kickbox. They don't want to stand with this guy. So Almeida 2 KO is 1,000. And I'll give you a nice little hint here. If you have Hard Rock or Fanatics, get to it real fast because it's 1750 for round 3. So, yeah, man, I think he's going to finish him, man. Looking at Kopylov, like his best wins, what are they in the UFC? Is it Fremd?
Soriano.
Is it Soriano?
Soriano.
Is it Soriano?
Probably.
I don't know, man. Soriano just got finished by Stoltzfus. I don't know. But honestly, he got absolutely destroyed by Carl Roberson.
Dude, right? He killed his leg. He did exactly what you're saying.
He was looking horrible against Di Chirico in round 3 before he.
What about Claudio Ribeiro piecing him up? What about Ribeiro piecing him up?
And you know what? That was the one time in that fight that Ribeiro came forward hard and he landed a big right hand and completely. And Ribeiro was constantly on the back foot in that fight. I have no idea what he was doing.
Yeah.
So, and I played Ribeiro there. Full transparency, I played Ribeiro there. I was fading Kopylov. Now I can't. There's no way I can play Ribeiro at plus whatever he was, 150, and not play fucking Almeida plus 129. I would be a lunatic not to do that.
I like this because this is obviously I love chopping it up with you guys, but it's like there's certain times where I'm really confident in my take on fights, and I'm like, all right, I'm betting my play, and I don't give a fuck what anybody else says. And there's other times where I'm not. So like this has happened twice tonight on these fights where I'm like, I'm probably going to be betting this bet instead of my bet. Like this bet, I'm probably going to be betting your guys' bet, and then the Jake Matthews. I feel like both of those fights, you guys have sold me on your bets as opposed to my bet. I'm like,
Kopilov's cardio is not very good, man.
I think it's good. It's okay when he's just striking. I think it's just.
But it's not. But how about the Chirico fight? Chirico fight was all striking and he was tired.
Soriano, he started to look a little tired.
The thing is, Tim, when you use the way he fights, he's a bouncy fighter, constantly kicking. It's gonna fucking tire you out.
I'm not saying that he doesn't like tire out or slow down a little bit. I'm just saying like it's not like when he gets grappled versus guys, and this is just like he's done. Like you can just see he's clearly done.
Well then, Pepe, if you played Puna and Ribeiro, who are strikers that are a lot worse than Almeida, you have to play Almeida, bro. Like you have to, honestly. I mean, yeah, Fluffy obviously is a different matchup. He can grapple him, but man, like I played Ribeiro too, and I looked at my history. I'm like, I gotta play fucking. I mean, it's a slam dunk Almeida plus.
What is the KO alone on Caesar? Like 280 or something like that?
Somewhere around. And I think it's good, to be honest. I mean, listen, if Caesar lands flush in round 1, he's absolutely gonna put him out. I can tell you that right now.
The thing is too is like I know a lot of people, they view fights in terms of like ELO, estimated level of opposition, or they'll use stats, stuff like that, UFC experience and stuff like that. But if you just watch the way Almeida fights and you just watch him in the moments of the fight, the guy is obviously an incredibly intelligent, seasoned fighter. He might not have fought MMA his whole career, but he's been in so many situations in kickboxing at the high level. He's seen a million Kopylovs. We've said this with a bunch of these striking fights in recent memory. You know, Alex has seen a bunch of Hills. Aldo has seen a bunch of Martinez's. You know what I mean? None of these things are surprising for these guys. So you have to bet those guys in these fights, in the striking fights, in my opinion.
I mean, let's put it this way. Who is the one guy that he's faced that's, let's say, a good kickboxer? Who is it?
Herrera.
Carl Roberson. No.
Oh, sorry. You're talking about Kopylov.
Carl Roberson, and he fucking destroyed him, right? And this guy is levels above Carl Roberson in the
Like you said, he killed his leg in that fight. Like that's where he got.
Oh, and I'm telling you, if you think Roberson kicks hard, then you're in for a treat with this guy's kicks. Honestly, I mean, Pepe's saying Ozzy is big on GTD, man. I don't like it, man. I think Almeida is going to get him out of there, to be honest. And I do kind of feel like Kopylov is a little flaky, man. Honestly, I really do. I don't know why I feel like it. Just watching some of his fights, to me, he's a great hammer, but he's not a very good fucking nail. So, and the one thing I like with Almeida is he's tough as nails, man. The guy, you could see, man, he takes the best shots and he'll keep coming. So let's move on. We killed that fight, but yeah, Cesar Almeida all day for a lot of money. Moving on to the welterweight division, fight number 8. It is the 18-5 Randy Brown versus the 24-7-1 Oleksiejczuk dos Santos. I think this one is Sean. Yeah, Sean.
I mean, it is a tough fight. I got the early Randy Brown line. I think it could play out many, many ways. Personally, I think it could end up being a close decision, or I could just see it playing out a lot of different ways, right? So for the purposes of the Lambo plays, though, I'm just going to go ahead and do Randy Brown KO 1-2 plus 470. I think that Zaleski's getting a little older. Randy's got, that length to him. Randy has power. This could potentially be the second old man that he puts out. So I'm just going to roll with that.
Yeah, I had him KO against his last time out because what's his name? I don't think he's ever been KO'd.
Solecki. Yeah.
Had he ever been KO'd before? I don't think so.
No.
Yeah. And, I in that fight, I took knockout for – actually, he was. Jing Liang knocked him out. But everybody was talking about how durable Solecki is and blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, he's older. He's been getting hurt more lately. The signs were on the wall that it's possible that he's going to get knocked out, and he got knocked out. Well, the same fucking signs that are on the wall again here, man. Honestly, Dos Santos is older, been through a lot of surgeries. Getting dropped by Renat, not a fucking very good look. He almost got finished in that fight in round 1. And the thing is, like, Randy Brown, I don't know what to think of his, like, it might be more speed than power. Like, he's very fast with his combos. I don't think he carries like a shit ton of power or anything. He's fast with his combos. He's straight with a lot of his punches, and he's long as hell, man. And, Dos Santos, like I said, he got dropped against Renat. He didn't look great against Abubakar. Honestly, he didn't look great in that fight. He's coming off a couple of surgeries. This guy's older. Randy Brown is in his prime, to be honest. Now, he looked good his last fight, and again, it's Solecki. But the one thing we can take away from Solecki is he's a damn good striker, right? So, Randy Brown for me here. I'm not gonna pick around though, Sean. I'm gonna go with straight up KO here. It's 350. Randy Brown has decent cardio. Yeah, I think he can go 3 rounds pretty easily. I think if he lands a big shot in round 3, it could happen. So I'm going with the Brown KO. Now, Dos Santos is a tough guy. I'm not gonna say he's the easy pushover or whatever. But I think the length, the speed, the youth, all those things matter in this fight. Did Dos Santos look good in round 3 against Renat? Yeah, but why? Why did he look good? Because Renat gassed his ass off. Like, he was gassed bad. So, yeah, I mean, for me, it's Randy Brown KO plus 350.
We're going to go 3 for 3 on fights where you guys have the KO and I have the ends by split here. Let's go. Let's do it. Yeah, like I mean, I see your guys' points. I think that, like you said, we're not knocking him down is just not a good look. And Oleksiejczuk just does look like he is slowing down a lot. I was on with you the Muslim KO like that a lot too. I think it was like 6-1. The thing with me with Brown, I mean, like if Oleksiejczuk comes out and tries to slow him down, Brown just seems to me like to be another one of these fighters that just doesn't put stamps on rounds, can stay at range and have guys hurt and not go in for the kill. Multiple times I've had him for finish props and been like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? You got this guy hurt. And he just jabs and stays at range. And Brown can also be hurt in rounds. So like as he's winning minutes, he can take big shots and get hurt and then look, be out voluming a guy like the Chaos Williams fight and have it be close. So yeah, I just think that, I think Dos Santos has 6 out of 11 of his decisions are splits too. So he definitely fights close margins. So if this fight goes, I think it could be like minutes versus moments. But I would, like you're saying, I wouldn't be shocked if this is a KO for Brown either.
Yeah, the one thing I didn't mention, or none of us probably did it, it's a little concerning with the calf kicks, honestly, because I rewatched a lot of the Dos Santos. He does kick the calf actually a good bit. So that is a little bit of a concern because, Randy Brown has ate a lot of them. He's kind of like walked through them, hasn't really shown but man, you can't be eating that many leg kicks. Eventually it's going to fuck you up, man. So that is a bit of a concern for me. But yeah, Thurman landed a shit ton of them against them, still walked through them and did okay, but
that fight was a bad look for him. That was kind of like, there's so many of those fights where you're just like, these guys are just there to be fucking put away, and he just doesn't do it. So I don't disagree that he has the quickness and he has the power to be able to do it. I just think like there's certain fights where I'm like, why aren't you finishing this fucking
Thurman
guy?
is such a I think he has good skills, man. He's just such a weird fighter, man. He's not in a UFC roster anymore. But I think the guy is skilled. I don't know what the deal is with him. Yeah, let's move on. Fight number 9. It is in the welterweight division. It is the 15-7 Nico Price versus the 24-9 Alex Morono. And this one's mine. I just think, honestly, I think Nico Price is shot, guys. The guy, he opened his own gym. I don't think he can take a punch anymore. His knees are fucked up. He's wearing probably 3 braces on each fucking knee by the time he gets into the cage. I don't think highly of Morono, but the guy is still youthful. He's 33. He's fighting often. He's not injured. He throws with decent power. He's got good cardio for who he is. So I hate to say this, but there's a reason why Morono's KO is plus 240. Morono never has these type of KO props, but it's plus 240 for a reason, man. I just think this guy can't take a punch anymore. So give me Morono KO. It's a Toyota Corolla, but I just think the inevitable is this guy's getting KO'd, and I just don't want to look past it. And it could happen whenever. Tim, this one's yours.
100%, man. The way I'm looking at it is like, if Robbie Lawler at his age can do it, why can't Morono do it here? Let's be honest. I think Morono also was beating his ass before he got knocked out in the last fight, which he's tend to do in fights. Like he did that against, I think, Ponzinibbio as well. Yeah, I just think he's a better striker. I think that he's just younger. He's got the better chin. I feel like this is like a half a unit bet for me on the KO, and then if I see 1 knee brace, it'll be a full unit bet. And then if I see 2 knee braces, it'll be like a unit and a half bet on the KO for me. So each knee brace will put it up a little bit more. Yeah, his knees are cooked. His legs are cooked. His chin is cooked. So unless the USADA, the no USADA here for him helps him like some of these other fighters, I think he's going to get like murdered in this fight.
Yeah. Sean?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not just going to sit here and repeat everything we're talking about. Nico Price, he opened a gym. He's got 10 kids. He's getting knocked out. So, Morono KO.
Yeah. I mean, I don't like even, I don't even, here's the thing. The other thing you got to think about is like, okay, Nico knocked this guy out last time. Why the fuck are they making even this rematch? You know, it's like,
because they don't know what to do with these guys. I mean, it's
I just think Nico's he's just done. I think this is his last fight, by the way, on this contract.
You know, it's an action fight. That's all it is. That's why they moved it to the main card.
Yeah,
it's
probably.
It's a little bit of meat to throw to the fans. That's all it is.
Yep. Let's move on. Fight number 10. It is in the middleweight division. It is the 25-11 Kevin Holland versus the 19-7 Michal Oleksiejczuk. Tim, what do you got for us here?
Similar with the last fight. I mean, I think Michal is looking to get out of the sport. Seems he's moved from his gym last fight and has been training in his like garage. It seems. The last fight is interesting because like everybody in their world is going to be on Kevin Holland by sub in this fight because of the clear deficiencies that Michal has. But it's based upon like these guys are there's an obvious game plan against them. Like if you can grapple and you can take him down, like you can, he just doesn't defend submissions. Like even the last fight, like he wasn't even trying to fucking hand fight and get this guy to stop, getting Pereira to stop choking him. Like Pereira hurt him to the body. He seems soft to the body. I think this is a perfect matchup striking wise for Kevin Holland. He's got a guy that's going to crash the pocket, that he's got length on, he's got speed on, and he's just going to be able to connect on him pretty much at will when he's coming into the pocket against him. And then when you say like, who are the kind of guys that Michal likes to fight against? Guys that like he can bully and walk in on and get into the pocket and then throw 2, 3, 4 punch combinations against. And it's like, you're not going to fucking get that here. Like you're going to get fucking crushed as soon as you come into range. I also think in the clinch that Kevin can fuck him up in the clinch if they get there too. So, and Kevin, it's like the sub prop is low and everybody expects Kevin that's going to grab. It's like, when has Kevin Holland taken a good game plan against anybody? Like when does that? It never happens. Like, I'm not saying that he can't do it. He's a skilled fighter and he's a very well-rounded fighter. He's very athletic. I'm not saying that he can't do it. Clearly he can. But literally every time you say this is what he should do, he doesn't fucking do that. So to me, I feel like it's a KO for Holland. And I feel like even if he knocks him down, I don't know that he necessarily goes for a sub. I think it's probably that he just pounds him out.
All right. KO for Holland. Sean, what do you got for us here?
Yeah, let's keep it rolling, man. Holland KO. I mean, there's not a whole lot to talk about here. The only way you could look at the Oleksiejczuk side is by decision, right? So he's probably not going to finish Holland. It's pretty unlikely. So if you're looking for a different flavor than all of us saying the same thing, then just go for Oleksiejczuk decision. But I think Holland's going to put him out at some point here. Michal is just not taking his career seriously whatsoever. He's an absolute punching bag on the feet. So, I just think he's going to get hit at some point by something, get put down. And then it's a matter of whether or not Holland wants to sub him or KO him. I think he'll just keep punching him. So, yeah, Holland KO.
Well, I'm going somewhere else here, guys. So I know you guys didn't mention it, but Holland's back up to 85 now. He's been fighting at 70 for a little while here. Now he's moving back up to 85. I don't know really why, because it's not like a short notice or anything. But he's moving back up here.
Because he's not fighting a wrestler.
Well, yeah, I mean, that might be why. I mean, I don't know. But
he's lazy.
Michal, the thing is, like, I look at the guy and could he get hurt? Yeah, but man, he recovers pretty damn well. I think Holland is very similar in like stature to Chidi and Njokuani. I think Chidi's probably a little more dangerous, honestly, as a striker, like early especially. And he hurt Oleksiejczuk early. I'm not taking much from the Pereira fight, to be honest. It's a fucking shot to the deep to the body. He like crumbled him basically, you know. And Holland, yeah, he throws some to the body, but he's not as lethal as Pereira is. I just have like a feeling that this fight's going to hit the scorecards, honestly. Holland, the problem with Holland, and you guys have to agree here, is that he's just, you can't trust the guy, man. He's not very smart. He, when he needs to do this, he does the other thing. He's just not a guy that you can reliably trust. And, you're right. Oleksiejczuk possibly near the tail end of his career. I don't know. The guy is still fucking super young, which is crazy, right? We talked about Matthews earlier, right? 29 years old, been in the UFC forever. Well, this is another guy, that's been in the UFC for upwards of 7 years, and this guy's only 29. He's got a ton of experience. So when I look at this fight, honestly, one thing that sticks out is when Holland goes to decision, it's usually fucking close. He doesn't really pull away from people, unless he finishes them. And I think Holland's going to fuck around a lot again. I just have one of those feelings. I think McCall's going to be on the front foot a lot. Maybe he gets hit, but I think he's going to do his good share of landing himself, and Tim, split decision at plus 700 here. How about that one? Because honestly, I think both guys are durable. The one thing the way I think Holland finishes is club and sub. Honestly, I think it's if he finishes McCall, it's club and sub. But if not, I think this fight hits the scorecards. I think both guys are extremely durable. And if it does hit the scorecards, I'm thinking it's going to be close. So plus 700 on the split decision here. Would you be surprised? Let me ask you guys this. Would you be surprised if McCall landed a takedown here? I wouldn't, honestly.
I think he gets submitted if he did.
Yeah, really? I don't think he's gonna it would be the biggest panic shot that he's getting worked if he's going for a takedown.
Okay. Jiu-jitsu sucks.
No, he doesn't have any jiu-jitsu. He's
right. It's for me, I also don't think that I think that I think that he's tough to the head, he's tougher to the head, but the KO was there for Pereira. He could have chosen either path. It was
the body. He destroyed him to the body.
Yeah, I just feel like
but Holland's not that guy though. That's the thing. He doesn't throw body punches. Holland is fucking head hunting the whole time.
Yeah, I think he's just gonna knock him down with a straight punch coming straight.
Could be. Yeah, it could be for sure.
It's not a fight that I would invest a whole lot of money in if I were.
Yeah, it's just not one. I'm gonna play split. I think it goes the distance. Honestly, I have a feeling this fight goes. But
what's GTD?
GTD on this fight is best price plus 194.
It's not the worst, honestly. It's kind of
I don't think so. When you look at Oleksiejczuk, he's been knocked out one time in his career, man. 26 fights. And don't forget, he's been fighting bigger guys at 205. This guy was at 205. So, yeah, Holland hits hard, but he's faced hard hitters.
But all of his losses are 6 out of 7 of his losses are being finished, and the other guys are just subbing him. So it's
no. How about all of them are finished.
He's 6 out of 7 of his losses are finished. 5 subs and 1 KO. It's hard to But
it's mostly subs. It's mostly guys that grapple.
The decision loss against Jacoby. The decision loss was against Jacoby, who just doesn't.
How about the Roundtree one? Didn't they go distance in that one? I remember.
For Oleksiejczuk?
Huh?
No contest. Yeah, no contest. Yeah,
yeah. He did. He went 3 rounds. It was 3. It was because of what's his name popped. Roundtree popped on that one. Anyways, let's move on. Co-main event of the night, and it is in the middleweight division. By the way, guys, in case you didn't know, it's a 5-round fight. Middleweight division, 28-6 Sean Strickland versus the 14-3 Paulo Costa. I think this one is, who's it? Yours, Tim? I think it's yours, yeah.
This is an interesting fight. I think Sean is really tough to hit. up top in his head, and he's just really good defensively, even though his style you would think that he would be hittable, like just walking guys down and throwing as much volume as he does, and boxing in combinations the way he does. He's really tough to hit. And I feel like, I mean, like, what would this line be if he wins the decision against the split against Duplessis? This line would be way, way worse. I mean, no question about it. I kind of think he won that fight. I know it was very close. I'm not saying there was any robbery or anything like that. The fight was extremely close with Cannonier as well. And I think both of Cannonier and Dricus Duplessis, obviously Dricus had some wrestling success in that fight, but I think both of those style fighters are similar striking to the style that you see with Costa. I think they're better, so don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say that he's on the same level as Cannonier is, because I don't. But I feel like it's like he's like the third tier of those guys. But I think like he's that brute style that he's just going to throw bigger shots. He's going to try. It's big moments. And then you're just going to see Strickland just continually jabbing him down and walking him down and walking him down. And, Strickland is a guy that it's hard to like, you gets these guys too, where you're just like, dude, you finish this fucking guy. And he's just like, nah, I'll just keep jabbing him. Just keep jabbing him. So I think this is a Strickland by decision situation. It's like plus 195, but like, it's too hard to ignore the ends by split at 6-1 and the Costa decision 9-1 and the split for Costa at 25-1. You just like the two fighters that are similar to him in 5-round fights that had moments that he did not fight as aggressively against were Cannonier and Duplessis. And I just feel like, I just don't think that Costa is knocking him out. And I don't think that, barring a complete death gas from Costa, which I don't know that it'll happen, but like unless he completely death gasses, I don't see like the late finish for Sean Strickland. I think that if you're like, I think it's a decision for Strickland most likely, but the could be close. And if you're on Costa, the decision and the split for him seem to be the way to go.
All right, Sean.
Yeah, I mean, you just look at the slate on this fight, and it feels like a lot of the pricing is pretty accurate. Maybe the only thing that stands out to me that's maybe a touch inaccurate is Costa's decision equity. But as far as like what I would like tip as a Lambo play, you just kind of got to go with the system here and system play. I know it's Sean Strickland. I know it's probably not going to happen, but you got to go with the system play, which is that Costa is going to get tired in the fight. Strickland is going to build as the fight goes on. And you just got to hope to God that he's going to want to get it finished, right? I mean, you're going to want to hope to God that he's going to actually throw a right hand to follow that jab, because he could probably, hurt Costa and put him away. We've seen Costa quit before. Granted, it was against Israel Adesanya, but Costa is hittable. Costa does get tired in every freaking fight. Costa has a staph infection. I'm not putting a ton of weight into that. I think you don't even need the staph infection to know that the guy has bad endurance. So, I think that the best system play here is a Lambo play. To make it safe would be Strickland KO 345 at 500.
All right. I mean, Costa does get tired. The one thing that I try not to do, I guess, I don't have the exact stats, but guys coming off a world title fight where they lost their belt, it's really not a good thing.
They lose.
They lose.
A lot.
I don't have the stats in front of me, but I know it's bad.
It's not just world title. If they come off of a big main event, they lose.
I think the title, but they had stats on the title one where
they
lost their title, where they lost. No, specifically where they lost their title. It's bad, man. I don't have it, like I said, in front of me, but it's pretty damn bad on the follow-up fight. So, I do think Strickland's obviously the better fighter, but, Strickland is going to do his stupid jab, 1-2, and, the optics of that, honestly, in these fights, it's okay, but it's not a boxing fight. You know, it's not a boxing fight where you're landing 1-2, 1-2. It looks like he's getting cracked one time by Duplessis, and it's swinging the whole fucking round, you know? And it's kind of similar to what Costa's going to do. I mean, he's going to walk forward. He's going to eat probably a bunch of jabs and right hands, but he's going to wing those shots. And I'm pretty sure he's going to land on Strickland because, you know, either Strickland has that high guard, but you could still land on him. And you know, the way Costa throws with those big overhands, man, it's going to swing some rounds, in my opinion. And I think this is a close fight, to be honest. I know, like I said, Strickland is the better fighter, MMA fighter, but, you know, Costa's tough. He's hard to fucking put out. You know, that's the one thing. Like, he is hard to put out. He's tough as nails. You know, I think he's fought a 5-rounder before against Marvin Vettori. Yes. And, you know, he wasn't really that gassed in that fight, honestly. He looked
pretty. You got to remember the weight issue.
Yeah. I mean, but he did look okay. It was what I'm saying in the later rounds in that fight. But you know, Strickland is going to be pushing forward probably a lot of so that might actually tax him more. But you know, long story short, I think it's a close fight. I think it's a close fight. I think it hits the scorecards, to be honest. I like overs here. I like fight goes to decision here. I like all those things. But I also like split. It's 550. I'm not taking a side because, you know, I do kind of lean Strickland. I think Strickland wins the fight off volume and probably, I mean, he's definitely the guy with better cardio here. That's for damn sure. So, yeah, split decision plus 550. No real, I mean, I can't lay this price with Strickland after coming off, knowing having those things in my mind with the title fight he lost. I'm not messing with Strickland whatsoever. In this
you know what's a funny line in this? A funny line on DK is they do those weight miss props now, and Costa's is plus 700. It's the lowest one like I've ever seen. Like they're usually
split decision is 700.
No. Costa to miss weight is plus 700, and those are usually like 14-1, 16-1.
You know, Tim is a degenerate. He's looking at every fucking thing. I just
think it's funny. Like I know he misses weight so much. Like it's just like, I mean, they know, so pretty funny.
Yeah,
I should have given that as a Lambo.
Pepe and his contrary. Maybe it seems mushy. I don't know about all that, man. I mean, I just watched the tape, and I just think both guys are pretty damn durable. I mean, whether everybody's on it or not.
Sean is like Jack Marshman. Like, there's like so many of these fucking guys where you're just like, dude, just finish this fucking guy. Yeah. Like, what are you doing?
I mean, what? Look at Costa. Like, who's he been finished by other than Adesanya?
Even the Adesanya fight. Like, I mean, he theoretically could have put it on Adesanya and not letting him get space in that. I mean, he did try to keep striking on him, but like he gave him space when he had him knocked down, and yeah, just. After
like the same thing with what's his name, Strickland, who's finished him, you know, outside of Pereira and that one fucking meme,
Oleksiejczuk de Santos.
Cannonier hits a hell of a lot harder than
way harder.
Yeah. Costa has power, but his punches he doesn't strike like
he doesn't have any whip.
Technically, he doesn't whip. No. Technically, he's not great, but.
I think it's going to be Strickland decision. It's just
there you go. Pepe by spinning wheel kick. Costa. Hey, he throws them. He fucking throws them. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, he connected on Whitaker with that, and even Whitaker didn't go out. So Whitaker's chin is way more dusty than Sean Strickland's.
Yeah. All right. 478 live viewers on a Thursday. Thank you very much. Appreciate you guys. Hit the like, please. That's all I ask. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. That helps out. Comment once the video's done. Ask some questions, whatever. And with that being said, we'll move on to the main event here. It is in the lightweight division. It is the 25-1 Islam Makhachev versus the 30-8 Dustin Poirier. And this one is yours, Sean.
Sorry, just giving some comments there. Yeah, so I mean, what's there to say here? I'm seeing some people that are really saying, hey, Diamond time, it's Dustin's time. And you know what? It was last fight. That was the time it was Dustin's time. Because he was fighting Benoit Saint Denis, who has absolutely no MMA experience, no control over his tempo, and wasn't prepared for if the fight wasn't going his way, right? So that was the time to bet on Dustin in this particular fight. I just think Dustin's going to get submitted. So if Islam gets the positions that Benoit Saint Denis got, he's going to submit him. So he's a better wrestler. He's a better jiu-jitsu guy. He could maybe punch him out, but it just feels pretty obvious, right, that they're going to want to do, Islam submitting Dustin the exact same way Khabib did. Father's plan, blah, 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 blah. And it's probably going to be in rounds 1 or 2 for me. And I know that that's plus 200, but that's what I think is going to happen. So if you want a Lambo play, you can do 2-3, which is, I think, like 390, 350, 390, something like that. But it's going to be a submission in round 1 or 2. He could submit Dustin whenever he wants, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a little bit later, not round 1, honestly. Dustin, early, he's a little hard to sub. I mean, even Makhachev has good positions, and but I will say I do think probably Islam is better with submissions than Khabib, to be honest. But sub 2-3 is 350. Now, I will say, if this fight starts getting into round 4 and 5, it's probably bad news for Islam, to be honest. I don't like, if this is going, that means he survived. Dustin survived all the takedowns, all the sub attempts. And, at that point, you're standing, you're coming out for round 4. He's probably a bit tired. Dustin hits very fucking hard. It's not going to be good for Islam, in my opinion, if it's still there in round 4. So, I do think as a sub, I agree with Sean. Dustin's takedown defense is a guillotine. It's just, he really doesn't have good takedown defense at all. He threatens you with the guillotine, but you're just not going to get a guy like Islam in a guillotine, man. It's just not going to work. And, once he goes over to side control and, now he puts his knee on your belly and, it's bad news from there, So he's very heavy on top. We've talked about this a bunch, He's not one of those guys that you want on top of you, man, because he's smothering. He's doing everything fucking right. He's not giving you a chance to fucking breathe. So, yeah, I mean, it's not like some special play, but 2-3 sub, 350. I honestly, I would be a little surprised if he got him in round 1. I would be just because, Dustin is a veteran. He, even a bunch of his fights. I mean, just look, he's faced some really, really good grapplers, and he's not easy to sub early. But I think as the fight goes on, he's probably gonna dust him in round 2 or 3, to be honest. So.
Yeah, but why does Dustin need to get tired to get subbed by Islam? That's the thing.
Top pressure.
I don't think he needs to get tired in order for Islam to sub him. Islam's just heavy, dude. If he gets that same position that Benoit did, it's over, dude.
I'm just saying, while he's fresh, he's going to be hard to, completely fresh, he's going to be hard to sub, in my opinion. Okay. I don't think he's a vet that, he kind of knows. I mean, yeah, his takedown defense is not great, but I don't think his sub defense is terrible. Put it that way. I don't think it's terrible. He knows what to do. So while he's fresh, I think, he is maybe, in round 2, Islam can land ground and pound to open it up. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. Not that he's going to be death gas, but he's going to definitely be more tired than in round 1. So, yeah, I just think when you start putting it on him, the pressure, the top time, I think he's going to slow down Dustin a bit there. And even if you look at the Benoit Saint Denis fight, yeah, he knocked out Saint Denis, but you could see Dustin was breathing pretty fucking heavy, in round 2. So, And Saint Denis does not have the fucking control that Islam has. Like once Islam gets him down, he's in big fucking trouble. So yeah, I mean, I'm not going to completely take out round 1 and say, oh, it's impossible for him to sell. Obviously not, but I think sub 2-3, 350. But like I said, man, I'm already, my wheels are spinning that I might play 4 or 5 KO on Dustin. I don't know why, but wheels are spinning. They're big numbers, by the way. Tim, what do you have here?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with both of you guys. I mean, I just think that the difference between Benoit, there's a bunch of differences between Benoit Saint-Denis and Islam. I mean, it's just not even close, the comparison. I do think that Benoit in that fight went absolutely full rabies in the first round. Like he just was trying to get him so hard in that first round, and getting to those positions was just an aggro style more than anything. And I think that with Islam, like he's not diving for takedowns. Like he strikes and he sets himself up, and he's just not even like Khabib in that respect either. Like he's a much better striker than Khabib. He's way more defensively responsible. There's so many different things that he does, I think, better than Khabib. But where I don't think he's as good as Khabib is I think Khabib knows the step-by-step processes that he's got to do to get from positions, ground and pound, to then get the subs. Like I think that's where Khabib is better. Like you can even see it when he was getting the Kimura on Hooker. Like Khabib is like telling him like this, like the next move. No, hold this, don't do this. And like you can just tell that there's more knowledge there as to like what the coach, that the mental like abilities and the step-by-step processes that you need to go by. The patience on Islam, he's way more patient than Khabib. Like from a striking standpoint and setting up his takedowns, Khabib is just going to throw an overhand right and try to take you down, like just almost instantly. So I think that there's been fights where you've seen that with Islam, and you're like, oh, he's just going to insta-sub this guy. Drew Dober, he's going to fucking insta-sub this guy. You're like Thiago Moises, he's going to be able to out-wrestle him. He's going to be able to sub him. Like round 3, round 4, like he's gone to decisions with guys that you think he's going to finish. And there's times where he just plays it really kind of safe for striking. And I think this is going to be that type of fight. Like I don't think that he's going to try to just run into the pocket immediately with Dustin Poirier and give him his win condition. Like that would just be kind of stupid, I think. So I agree with you too, Mike, that I think that there's been fights. The Khabib fight is a clear one where Dustin slowed down and he broke him and then he got the sub. I also think Charles broke him. And in round 2 against Charles, Dustin was like, I'm not going to give up my back. I'm going to stay down. And Charles just fucking beat the living shit out of him from elbows. And he just started breaking him. So I think that, like you're saying, I think eventually it's a 2, 3, or a 4 sub here for Islam. And I agree with you. I think if it hits round 5, I think that it's probably going to go to decision. But I think he could sub him also in round 4. But I would lean 2 and 3.
All right.
They want you to mention the staph infection.
Yeah, I mean, it's I looked at it. It looks like old, to be honest. It looked like it's closed up, like kind of like healed up. This is probably, I don't know, if I had to guess, probably like fucking 5 weeks ago or something, 6 weeks ago even. It looks old, so whatever. They showed another. Who else did they show a staph infection on his? Wasn't it Costa?
Costa.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, man. I'm trying to not put that into my capping. Like, I don't know how to cap that. Well, how do you cap a fucking staph infection from 7 weeks ago? Tell me. What is it? Minus the guy loses half a cent or half a dollar? What? I don't know. How do you cap it? I'm not in his camp, so I have no fucking idea.
The other thing, too, is they all act differently to the staph.
And the other thing is like, okay, he has staph infection. He did this. He did that. Is he not going to get Poirier down in round 1 and 2? Like, is he not? Is he all of a sudden going to just die?
That's what I said.
Going to get him down.
He could have HIV.
He got staph infection. He doesn't know how to fucking shoot a single leg and a double leg anymore. It's like, still going to get him down. Like, we're not doctors. Yeah, exactly. MMA line mover. We're not doctors. I have no idea like how to cap that, honestly. So yeah, 12 fights. We went through all 12. 512 people in here. Thank you very much. Freaking Mushroom keeps sending. He needs to freaking have our Lambo parlays. All right, Tim. What are we going to do?
He's never asked that before.
How many likes do we have? That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
You can't just be giving out Lambo parlays for free.
No chance. We should
how many likes?
We should just call it. We got 62 likes, dude. 52.
Start breaking next week's.
Yeah, no, dude. I think
out of his mind. We call me in the bathroom at some point here.
Yeah, bro. Exactly. This is going on freaking almost 2 hours here, but
we didn't mention that. We didn't mention that tonight. The gloves are different with the full 3 ounces.
Oh, yeah. Gloves. Yeah, they have different gloves. It's a whole ounce less. It's actually ounce to ounce and a half. I don't know how that works. I don't know, for some reason they put out they're going to be between 2.5 and 3 ounce gloves.
That seems to be a huge difference.
I'm assuming maybe the women's gloves are 2.5. I'm not sure, but the men's are definitely going to be only 3 ounces. It's an ounce less. I mean, listen, in boxing, it matters. I'll tell you guys that for sure. Like when you go from 10 ounce to 8 ounce, I mean, that's a big difference. Those are 2 ounces, but it's a big difference. And now you're making is it going to cause more knockouts? Is it going to cause – some people were saying they're rougher. They can cause more – some fighters said that they think it's going to cause more cuts. I don't know who – was it Makhachev?
It was Makhachev.
Somebody said that. Yeah. So, yeah, that's one way of looking at it. But, Tim, Lambo parlays, please. What do you got here?
I'll defer to Sean, man. Go ahead first.
All right, Sean.
Yeah, I'll just do the one. So here's my Lambo parlay. I've got Jake Matthews KO over Phil Rowe. I've got Cesar Almeida KO over Roman Kopylov. And then I've got Islam Makhachev by submission. And for me, if I build that on FanDuel, which I'm sure you can build it elsewhere, get a better price, you get 50 to 1.
Just do end sub. It's only 15 cents off. God,
I don't know what to say right now. That's my exact fucking Lambo parlay, dude. But mine is sub 2.3.
Oh, okay.
Sub 2.3 on Islam at plus.
I'll tell yours.
That is literally my same exact fucking.
For Sean's, don't just do end sub, right? Just do end sub because it's 15 cents off, right?
What?
Like the sub for Islam is like plus 110.
100, I think, right?
100, and it's minus 115 for ends by sub, right?
I want the 5 cents.
Yeah. I mean, that's my Lambo parlay. It's Matthews KO plus 650, 600, whatever you can get. Almeida KO plus 260 and Islam sub 2.3 plus 350. I mean, pretty crazy that from all these plays we have the same exact fucking Lambo parlay. What it might be a sign, honestly. I'm gonna play yours too. I'm gonna play sub just in case. I don't want to get screwed and it's sub 1.
I'm gonna play end sub, and if you guys have fucking Dustin,
how does it happen? All these plays, and we have the exact. That's never happened, by the way, ever. It's never happened.
Never had that.
The same exact plays for our Lambo parlay. Unreal. That's why I put my hat down when you were saying the third one. I'm like, no, you're saying the same one.
You knew it was coming.
Yeah, I swear. I heard Islam. I'm like, yeah, it's gonna play sub for sure, at least. Tim, give us something different, can you?
I've got 2 I would go for. Islam sub 234. Jailton KO goes the decision in Sean Strickland fight is 41 to 1. And then let's get hairy here. Let's get hairy. Let's go for a 113 to 1. Jailton KO, Dawson by decision, Alex Morono by KO, Kevin Holland by KO. 113 to 1.
Wait, what's the last one? Jailton KO, Dawson decision. What's the third one?
We got Jailton KO, Dawson points, Morono KO, Holland KO.
I don't mind that one, actually. Not bad. I mean, except Holland. I kind of disagree, but yeah. All right. We went through everything here. 12 fights, Lambo parlays. Sean is taking a deep breath. We
gotta
go to the bathroom. He's holding it. Thank you very much, Sean, for joining us. Appreciate you. Thank you to everybody in chat. Guys, please subscribe to the channel. Like the video. That's all I ask. If you want to join the Discord, the link is down below. $25 a month. Sean is running the live spaces this weekend. I will be in Las Vegas. So thank you, Mr. Sean Orr, for running it. And Tim will be there. I think John Stargarian is going to be in there as well. Yeah, guys, thank you very, very much. Have a great night. Good luck this weekend. And let's cash those tickets for UFC